you need to like hold back your answer or something. Just say what you feel you need to say, and then I think we'll be fine. You see. So question 4 here says, below are the graphs of this. So there's the equation of the parabola. It's clearly a smiling parabola, and with us reading this question, the kinds of things that should go on in your head is that, okay, this is given in a specific format. Now, a format like this, the main reason they'll be giving it to us like this is because they'll be trying to tell us what the turning points of our function are, you see. So we should know that kind of information, because any parabola in this format, we know that P and Q will always be the turning point, you see. And then it says here, we also have a straight line, which is G. We don't have the equation of that. And then they said A and B are the x-intercepts. So where's A and B? There's A over there, B over here. They are the x-intercepts of F. And then they said E is the turning point of F. There's E down there. And then it then says here C is the y-intercept of both F and G. So you have C up there. Perfect. And then it says here the x-intercept of G is D. So you have an x-intercept over there, which is D. And then they said here DE is parallel to the y-axis. Okay, that's quite interesting. So let me do this. Man. Wait, we just have to remember. Okay, well, as long as these are parallel, we should keep that in mind, you know, because that's quite important. It's gonna give us a lot. So the first thing is they're asking us to get the coordinates of E for 2 marks. So the coordinates of E, what are your thoughts there with the coordinates of E?
So, doesn't it have to do with your -4 and -9?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so then wouldn't it be 4 coordinate -9?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Because with the turning point, whatever this is for X, we take the opposite. So because it's a -4 there, we have to put a 4 here. But then for the Y value, we take it as it is. If it's a -9 there, we put a -9 there. So that's what E is, because E is specifically the turning point. Perfect.
Hey, Levi, sorry. There's another way you can work out the turning point. It's 2B over A or B over 2A. Can't remember the
it's B over 2A minus B over 2A. Yes.
When do you use that?
Okay, so this one is specifically it's specifically there to give you the X value of the turning point. And then once you have the X value of the turning point, you will then be able to throw it into your equation and get the Y. So we use this formula here when your equation is in quadratic format. Like if your equation is in this format, ax squared plus bx plus c, you see. So as long as your equation is in this format, you can use what we wrote up here, you see. So if you think of what we wrote, the idea is you can clearly see there will be a B value here, there will be an A value there. So in this question, you cannot clearly see what your B value is here.
Yeah.
So you can't use this. Yeah.
Now it's coming back. Okay, that's fine. Got it.
Nice. nice. So let's see what the next one is asking for A. A is one of the x-intercepts. A is one of the x-intercepts. So that's something that we need to.
So x equals 0.
X equals 0. Yes. So in the equation here, we would need to make x a 0, right? So here we'd have 0 is equal to the equation, right? Which is x minus 4 squared and then minus 9. And then solving for x, we don't even have to FOIL or anything. We can just take the 9 over, right? And then the issue is here, if you're going to square root both sides in the next step, we just have to be careful to put a plus and a minus on the left, you see, because we're going to have square root here, right? The answer here is going to be plus or minus 3. And then you have x minus 4. So us writing the plus or minus, this is where our two different answers are going to come from. Because if you don't put the plus or minus, you're gonna only end up with one answer, which is clearly wrong, you see, because you have two x-intercepts. So here, the first answer, we can say here, what we're gonna say. It's just here, we can just use the positive one, right? X minus 4. This goes over, it's like 3 plus 4. And then this is a 7. The other answer, we know it's like -3. And then we have what? X minus 4. And then the x goes over, you have -3 plus 4, which is like a 1. You see, of which we can see the one towards the left, that's the one that's going to be the x value of y, like that. Oh yeah, we have to write the coordinate. Therefore, a is 1, +1 rather, and then a 0 over there. There we go.
Yeah.
Does that
Yeah,
make
because
sense?
if it cuts to your x, you make y equals 0. And if it cuts to your y, make x equals 0.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I had it the other way around just now. Oops.
No, it's cool. It's cool, you know. Gotta do what you gotta do. Gotta do what you gotta do. So with let's see what the next one says, right? The next one, let's see what it is asking us. So the idea also is, yeah, we're not really doing anything crazy here. You see, this is just to remind us of, you know, how standard the questions are. So it says M is the reflection of C in the axis of symmetry of F. Write down the coordinates of M. So we read it, we have to read it again, but we have to be referring back to the sketch. Otherwise, we're not even doing anything. M is the reflection of C. So where is C in the first place? C is here.
Yeah.
They said M is the reflection of C in the axis of symmetry of F. So the axis of symmetry of F, they are referring to the what you may call this line here. You see, so with this line here, we know that we have a value over this side, and then they're saying M is going to be on this other side. So there's M here. You see, like that. Yeah. So with that being said, they want us to get the coordinate of M because they have taught us C. So what can we do to get M if they've given us this information?
What do they say C is though? Like,
I mean, like, you can just look at where C is. Can you see that C is the y-intercept?
Yeah, so you calculate x. You would make x 0.
Yes. So in the equation of your graph, x is 0. Yes, definitely. So we can get C first, right? Is that what you're saying?
And then you can get M.
Okay, let's get C first. So to get C first, we said we need to make the what you may call the x value as 0. So here we're gonna have y is equal to 0 minus 4 squared minus 9. And this is -4 squared, right? This is like 16. 16 minus 9 is like a 7. Yes. Okay, fine. So we have y as 7 here. So what is the coordinate of C then?
Yeah. 7 coordinate 0. X 0. Yeah, sorry, you're right. 0 coordinate 7.
Dope. Perfect. So since we now know the x value here is a 0, right? And the y value is a 7. So what can we now do if because they've told us that this one is just a reflection of the other one, right? Which is useful, I guess. But then how can we use that information here to get M, looking at the way our sketch is?
It's probably such a simple thing.
Because they said it's a reflect. They said C is a reflection of M.
So then Won't it be 7 coordinates 0?
No, remember, it's if it was inverse, then the x and the y would swap. But remember, don't like just try and not feel like the answer has to be something fancy, you see. So for example, you see, whatever they tell you, right, always make use of that to help you. So do you see that here they told us that M is a reflection of C? So do you think that them telling us M is a reflection of C is something useful for us to use?
Yes.
Yes. So what you want to ask yourself is, why are they telling us that C is a reflection of M? That's the question you want to ask yourself. Like, why are they telling us that C is a reflection of M? The question is, you want to ask yourself, why are they telling us that? And what information are they trying to give us? Because remember, a coordinate has two things. It just has an X value and a Y value. So you know that your job is to try and use the information they've given you to get an X value there and to get a Y value there. You see, that's all you have to do. So looking at where C is, right? And then remember, apart from them telling us that it is a reflection of C, they told us that it's a reflection of C in the axis of symmetry. So what we know is, remember, what you see on this left side of your sketch, a reflection of it should be on this side, meaning that the distance here is the same as the distance there. And you see that these two points are aligned. So if these 2 points are aligned like this, what does that tell us about their Y values?
They're the same. So it would be Y would be a 7.
Yes, so that's why they've told you it's a reflection, so that you can write this as a 7 as well. Now, because they are a reflection of which,
yeah, so then because they say it's the axis of symmetry, can't no, that's Y. Never mind.
no, go on. So with the axis of symmetry, how can the axis of symmetry help us now to get X? Because we're settled on the Y. We got Y. Y is done. But then now we need to get X. So like how can the axis of symmetry help us?
Because the axis of symmetry is the value of Y, isn't it, as well?
Wait, hold on. Like this axis of symmetry here.
Yeah.
Remember, X is the distance from the Y-axis, you see. So going to the right, we know that we want to find out from this point 0 here, going all the way to this side. We want to find out how many units it is. So our axis of symmetry, I mean, like, what do we know about our axis? Look at it from top to bottom, all the way going down here. What do you see about your axis of symmetry that may be helpful? Because our axis of symmetry is at a specific position in our Cartesian plane.
It halves it in the middle.
Yes, that's correct. It's in the middle of the graph. So how can that help us? Because it's in the middle of the graph, meaning from here to there, it's the same distance as from here going to the other side.
So then it's 4.
What is 4?
X, isn't it? The distance. Well, the distance is 4.
Yeah, the distance here is 4, yes. And why is the distance here 4?
Because that's your X value. So then 4 plus 4 is 8. So X is 8.
Yeah, 100%, you see.
Got it eventually.
Yeah, definitely. Which is the way it is with all things. You see, you don't wanna just give up if they have given you a piece of information. Because the thing is, with any question, right? Just always ask yourself, but then why did they give me this? Because they cannot give you something that's useless for your question. Anything they will give you, they'll be giving it to you because it's gonna help you answer your question. So when they gave you the axis of symmetry, what's useful about the axis of symmetry is the X value of the axis of symmetry. Because now when you compare this X value and you compare this X value, you know the distance is 4. So going to the other side, you know the distance is also 4, you see. So the 4 that's here plus 4 distance, that's what's giving us an X value of of 8 over there. So that was for 4.3, right?
Yeah.
So for 4.4, let's see what they're asking us at 4.4. So 4.4 is asking for the equation of the straight line. Now the equation of the straight line is, they're asking for the equation of G. Right? Let me actually just copy the image and then bring it down here. Maybe we will think it'll be better. So what can we do to get the equation of G? Because remember, anytime you need to get the equation of a straight line, you just need two things. And
Yeah.
what are those two things?
Coordinate and gradient.
Yes, you need to have those two things to eventually get the equation. But
So,
then for you, yeah, go on.
so I would think you'd use C's coordinate.
Okay, so we have C's coordinate.
Equation of G. It's also D.
Okay, D. What about D?
I'm just saying we could also use D somehow.
Yeah, so the question I was asking is, can you see the standard form here? In this standard form, which two things do we need to get for us to have the equation?
A gradient.
Yes, definitely. So we need a gradient, and what else do we need?
A coordinate. So,
No. In this
oh,
equation.
and a C. And a C.
Yes, and a C. So that's what you can safely say we need, right? All we need is a gradient. So that's the first thing you should be thinking of. Secondly, we need a y-intercept. So you should just be asking yourself, okay, fine, amongst these two things, what do I have and what do I need to work out? Because if you have it, you can just throw it in. If you don't have it, you have to work it out. So with what we're given, do we have the gradient already?
No.
No. What about the y-intercept? Do we have the y-intercept of our graph?
You're talking about C.
Yes. Do we have the y-intercept of our
Yeah.
graph of G? Yes. And what is it?
-9, isn't it?
The graph of G.
Oh, G. 7.
Yes, because that's the coordinate.
Wire.
Yes, that's the y-intercept. So C is a 7. So we have y here equal to, let me see, y equal to mx plus 7. So this is what we have so far. So now the question should be, we need to get a gradient. Now, what can we do to get the gradient of this line here? We have a straight line and we need a gradient. What can we do?
Well, we would need another pair of coordinates.
We would need another coordinate, yes. So which other coordinate looks like we can use in our sketch? You mentioned something about D.
Yeah,
So
D.
yeah, so can we get the coordinate of D?
Wouldn't it also, so it would be 4 coordinate 0.
Yes, because it's on the x-axis, and you can see why they told us that this is parallel to the y-axis, because that's going to help us to know it's a straight line going down. So because we know the x value here is a 4, it's how we know that the x value up there is also a 4, you see. So it goes back to saying that anything they tell us, they're telling it for a reason. They won't just say something and we don't use it, you see. So now we have C and D. You can see that we can now clearly work out the gradient, you see. So our gradient, we can just say y2 minus y1, and then x2 minus x1. And then what is that going to give us? We're going to have, we can just say 7 minus the 0 there.
7.
0 minus the 4. So that's like 7 over 4, right?
Yeah, -7/4.
Oh, yes. Because the minus there, the 4 down there is a negative. Okay. Yeah, I had actually forgotten that. Not forgotten, I just left it out. So yeah, that's the gradient, and we have the y-intercept. So therefore, y is equal to -7 over 4 x plus 7. And that's it, you see. So with these questions, the issue is we just need to be we just need to not be too quick to like let it off the hook.
Yeah.
So anyways, with this 4.5, what do they want us to do at 4.5? They're saying here, write down the equation of the inverse of G in the form Y is equal to something. So the inverse of G,
Yeah.
what do we need to do to get the inverse of G?
You just swap your coordinates.
You just swap, pardon, you swap what?
Your
Your
coordinates. Yeah.
Yeah, so the X value here, you would swap it with the Y value there, or the X variable swaps with the Y variable. So we know that Y becomes X, X becomes Y. And then, so here, Y, you're gonna write it as X, and then you have -7/4, right? The X here, you're gonna write it as Y. And then you have +7 over there. And then here, you need to make Y the subject of the formula, you see. So making Y the subject of the formula, you're gonna have to take the 7 to the left, becomes a negative. And then this is where it gets interesting, but not that interesting. So here, what you can easily do for yourself is you can just, without like overthinking it, right? You have to remember there's a number in front here, it's just the 1. And then here it's a -7, right? So remember, you can easily just say, okay, divide by -7/4, divide by -7/4. And then here you're gonna have Y, right? On this side, though, remember each of them here are going to have -7/4 as the denominator. So you can just work them out individually. And then you don't want to be too fancy about it. You see, just use your calculator to help you. Because as long as you use your calculator, it makes your life easy. Like here in your calculator, you just want to put 1 divided by this fraction. Your answer is going to come out as -4/7 with X here. Here, you're going to have -7 divided by this fraction. Your answer is going to come out as a +4, you see. And then you're just going to say here, therefore, Y is equal to -4/7 X, and then plus the 4. Wait, I think it's -1/4. Wait, hold on. Let me put my money where my mouth is. Let me just grab a calculator before I make a dumb mistake. So let's see, 1 divided by -7/4. Okay, so this one is fine. Let's do this one.
That one is a 4.
Yeah, -7/4 is the what we're dividing by. Okay, perfect. So it's also it's a +4. Okay, so everything is fine. It's a +4. There's a +4. I was just doubting myself, which is fine. If you doubt yourself, just get the facts, of which I just got the facts from the calculator. So now I don't have to doubt myself anymore. I can just take the answer for what it is. So that's the big idea here. We have gotten our equation and we wrote it in terms of Y. So that's for 4.5, right? You see, we just have to know that they're talking about inverse there. Now, for something like the next one, right? Which is this last question. This question, we can clearly see that it's usually not everyone's cup of tea. But then the issue is it's just usually a mind block where most of the time people have already decided in their brains that these are just the kinds of questions they'll just leave out, So it's more like a mind thing and not necessarily the question. That's the problem, you see. Normally the problem is what you would have already decided for yourself, you see. Because as long as you have decided something, yeah, that's it. You see, you can't really yeah, it's kind of difficult to like change a person's mind once it's made up, you see. So
Yeah.
if you for yourself know that in your head you've already decided that these are the kinds of questions you're just not gonna bother with, yeah, it's just one of those things where a person just needs to be aware what they have chosen. So are these the kinds of questions you want to be able to work out or no?
Look, I'm not fond of them, but I try do them, if that makes sense. I don't leave it open.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you. Okay, so anyways, let's put it this way, right? Let's put it this way. So with these kinds of questions, this is the idea behind these kinds of questions. Let me do this. Hold on. Let me maybe start a new one here.